Welcome to Key Signatures, the gossip behind the greats. This is Beethoven's missing 2 weeks. Vienna, spring 1787. A 16-year-old from a small German town sits down at a piano in a room he probably had no business being in. Across from him stands the most famous composer alive. Mozart gives the boy a theme and tells him to improvise on it. The boy plays. And Mozart, so the story goes, walks into the next room and says to his friends, "Keep an eye on him. Someday he will give the world something to talk about." It is the greatest origin story in music. 2 giants, 1 room, 1 prophecy. There is only one problem. Nobody can prove it happened. That line does not appear in print until 1856, almost 70 years later, in a Mozart biography by a scholar named Otto Jahn. Jahn never says who told him. Hold on to that, because 5 years after this room, a nobleman writes one sentence in Beethoven's notebook that turns this whole story into a ghost story. We will get there. Rewind. Bonn, a river town, a working family. Ludwig is not a pampered prodigy, he is the family paycheck. At 13, he is on the court payroll as an assistant organist. His father is coming apart. His mother is the one holding the house together, and everyone in Bonn knows it. Then his employer, the elector, decides the boy is worth an investment and sends him to Vienna to study, almost certainly with Mozart. The trip takes more than 2 weeks by coach, over 500 miles of mud and inns and cold. He arrives around the 7th of April, and here is the entire documented record of what happens next. He is in Vienna. Then, about 2 weeks later, he is gone. 2 weeks. That is it. Every version of the famous meeting has to fit inside that window, in a city where Mozart is drowning. Because that same spring, Mozart's own father is dying in Salzburg. Leopold has weeks to live. Mozart is also deep into a new opera called Don Giovanni. 2 men in one city, both about to lose a parent, and neither one knows it yet. But here is where it gets strange. The people closest to Beethoven do not agree on whether he ever heard Mozart play at all. One student wrote that Beethoven described Mozart's playing in detail. "Beautiful," he said, "but choppy. No smooth line between the notes." Other accounts from people just as close say Beethoven regretted, for his whole life, never having heard Mozart touch a keyboard. Both stories cannot be true. And Beethoven himself? He wrote hundreds of letters. In every surviving page about this meeting, he says nothing. What we do have is one letter written on the 15th of September, 1787. He writes to a man in Augsburg named Schaden. It is the only real document from that spring, and it never mentions Mozart once. Beethoven's time in Vienna ended in an emergency. A message reached him that his mother was gravely ill. He turned around and went home. He got there in time. She died on the 17th of July. In the letter, he calls her a good, kind mother and his best friend, and he asks who was happier than he was when he could still say the word mother and have someone answer. He also admits he is short of breath and downtrodden and completely out of money. Schaden had loaned him the cash to get home. Beethoven writes to apologize for not paying it back yet. A 16-year-old, in debt, burying his mother, with 2 younger brothers now looking at him. So count what may have been lost in those 2 weeks. No lessons, no counterpoint drilled into him by Mozart. Mozart dies in December 1791 at 35. Beethoven finally returns to Vienna in November 1792. He misses him by 11 months. Now, that notebook. Before Beethoven leaves for Vienna the second time, his friend Count Waldstein writes an inscription for him. It reads, "With the help of tireless labour, you shall receive Mozart's spirit from Haydn's hands." Beethoven kept that page, and years later, in Vienna, he sat down in front of an audience and played Mozart's piano concerto in D minor at a benefit concert for Mozart's widow. Subscribe for more gossip behind the greats. Next up, the teacher he actually got, Haydn, and how badly those lessons went.